Welcome to Film and Page. I'm Dominic, and in this video I'm going to try to explain the time travel in Star Trek Picard Season 2. So there might be some spoilers in this, so spoiler warning if you haven't seen any of the new episodes. So last episode left a lot of Star Trek fans confused, me being one of them, of how the time travel works. So this video is not going to be a review of the episodes, it's just going to be me trying to figure out how the time travel works and hopefully make sense to other people. So spoiler warning, if you haven't watched the episodes, there are some spoilers in this. So how this all started was season 2 starts off with the Stargazer and all these Federation ships investigating some kind of spatial rift. And they realize there's a signal coming from this rift. And now Rio, he is now in command of the brand new Stargazer. So this signal is calling out for Picard. They want help from Picard. So Picard arrives and joins the Stargazer. And then the ones that are sending the signal, a vessel comes out through the rift, and it's a Borg vessel. So it was the Borg calling for Picard. So then the Borg Queen comes aboard, and it seems like she's starting to assimilate the Stargazer. And so and then access all the other starships through the computer system of the Stargazer, essentially assimilating the whole fleet. To stop them, Picard orders the destruction of the Stargazer. So they blow the Stargazer up. They're all seemingly killed. Then Picard and the cast of Season 2, they all wake up in an alternate timeline where their lives have worked out completely different. So there's no Federation, there's the Confederation, like this fascist organization. Like the Mirror Universe, but not exactly like the Mirror Universe. Then then Picard figures out what's going on because Q visits him. So Q tells him some kind of a change was made, a minor one. He says a simple change was made back in 2024 that caused this new alternate timeline. So the main cast of characters all get together and they use the slingshot effect to go around the sun and to go back in time. So now where the confusion sets in, they're back in time in the year 2024, and they're all going about their various missions. So Picard, while he's in the back, they have to find this Watcher, because this Watcher is the one that knows what this 2024 event is. So Picard seeks the help of Guinan. And this is where things get confusing in this last episode. Two things confuse a lot of Star Trek fans. First of all, 7 of 9 and Raffi are on a bus, and they see a punk on the bus, and it's the same punk from Star Trek 4 The Voyage Home, and he's got the same ghetto blaster, it's the same actor, I looked it up, everything. So he is there with his music blaring again. 7 tells him to, turn his music down, and he kind of freaks out and says, oh yeah, and compliance, turns down, touches his neck, like he's remembering he got the neck pinch. So everyone assumes they're in that. This is the same past that Kirk and Spock visited back in the 80s as well, and this is the same punk. So where the confusion really sets in is when Picard goes to find Guinan, and she doesn't know who he is, even though they had met further in the past in the 2-part episode, I believe, Time Zero, or something like that. That episode where she was palling around with Mark Twain. But she has no idea who Picard is. So then, is it a plot hole? Did they just forget about that episode, or is it meant to be? Is it part of the writing? And is the punk thing just like an Easter egg they threw in there, but it's not meant to be taken serious? So there was a lot of debate going back and forth, and the writer, I think his name is David Mack, he wrote a whole article explaining how the time travel works. So I read it a few times, it's really convoluted. So I wanted to try to simplify it myself, just so it makes sense to me and anyone watching. So I created this illustration to try to visualize what's going on. So people are confused, saying that, well, it's a plot hole. Guinan should have known Picard. So what happened is, in the Prime timeline, the Borg showed up, and the Stargazer was self-destructed and exploded. So this happened in the Prime timeline, and seemingly probably destroyed that Borg vessel as well. Now, what is kind of glossed over in the episode, and probably might have been lost on a lot of people, and is explained in this article, is that this is an alternate Borg ship from an alternate timeline. So keep that in mind. So this causes our merry band of characters to wake up in this alternate timeline where the Confederation is running everything. So they're in this alternate timeline. So it's this alternate timeline that they do their time travel from. They slingshot around the sun because they have to go back and stop this 2024 event. So they go back, but they go back into an alternate past. So the logic of the time travel is that Guinan doesn't know Picard in this timeline because the past has also been altered by this 2024 event. So this is almost like an parallel universe they're in. And so that's why she wouldn't know him. Because their time travel because they time traveled from an alternate future and not from the prime future. So it's almost like this event might even take place in both timelines, because it's almost like a nexus point. This 2024 event gave birth to this alternate timeline, which the Federation never was, so Kirk and Spock couldn't have gone back in time to save the whales and to see the punk. So the punk shouldn't be there, by the logic of this. So this, to me, is how I'm making sense of it. So if they stop this 2024 event, they eliminate this alternate timeline, goes away, and you're just back with the normal prime timeline. Now, how I was thinking it worked in my head is because they went back in time from the alternate future in the past, and they went back before the event, both futures are equal. So that you could have time travelers from either future, because neither one of these futures technically have happened yet, because the event hasn't happened yet. So you could have, the way I was thinking of it in this way, Guinan should have recognized Picard, because they both share a common past. But the way they're doing it in Star Trek Picard, they also have not only an alternate future, but an alternate past as well. So that's how I've made sense of it. So I don't know if it makes any more sense to anyone else who's watching, but that's how I'm making sense of it. Now, is it a plot hole or did they plan it? Now, here's the thing that'll decide whether this was a plot hole or if they planned the whole time travel thing out like this. Is if they eliminate this alternate timeline and then they go back to the prime timeline. If Guinan of the prime timeline remembers meeting Picard in this alternate past, she shouldn't remember him. The same way this alternate Guinan didn't remember meeting Picard before. She shouldn't remember this because she never experienced this alternate past. This is an alternate Guinan that Picard is interacting with, because Picard is basically inhabiting the body of an alternate Picard that went back into an alternate past. Now, that sounds confusing, but hopefully it makes some sense. So that's how I'm trying to explain it to myself. Hopefully it makes more sense to anyone who watched, but and maybe they'll make it more clear in the next episode. Now, the writers should have been a lot more clear about how this whole time travel thing worked, and probably, even though it was a fun Easter egg, just not have put in the cameo of the punk in there at all. So hopefully that makes more sense. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all in helping this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded.